So the last step is, now that we have our person file storage component here, is to integrate that into our GUI application. So we have our GUI application up here. Just to refresh on that, we had our main app. We'd drawn this app, first name, last name, age. Again, you've built your own application. You have something more complicated and something that aligns better to the assignment we have going on. But if we can run this and we can see the application came up. So we can put in stuff, submit it, it validates, and it printed it out to here. So we know we have that application running. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I'm going to go to my person file storage. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to my GUI demo here, and I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to paste a refactor copy. That's going to automatically fix the package name for me. So you can see new name, person file storage, puts in the GUI demo package. I say refactor inside of there. So now my person file storage is available. It's in this class. So now let me close a bunch of this stuff here. Let me actually just close all of these and then open up what I want. Because now this other project is to the side. We're not going to see it anymore. So in my main app then, if I go to my submit button, you can see I have my validation that I had from last time. And I get all the way down to the bottom. And if all the data was received, then I was doing a pop-up. So now all I want to do is replace this pop-up line with the write it to a file line. So if you started with your GUI application, you would be putting lines of code here, 159 right here, this one I have highlighted. You'd be replacing this line with opening a file, opening the writer, doing the formatting, printing it out, all that sort of great stuff. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to replace this line with another line that calls our component. So, keeping it simple, trying to do this the quickest and dirtiest way possible, I'm going to just literally create a new instance of this component every single time. This is not super desirable. This is a shortcut, but it's a nice little bridge stepping stone to get us there. So we can make a person file control space storage object, PFS, just for lack of a better name. New personal file storage there. And then with this, I can do PFS dot write person for the person I just created. Now, that's it. I've switched out lines of code. Boom, there it is. The issue is I still have to deal with the exception. It's okay now, because now I know what I want to do with the exception. Before, I have a command line app. If it doesn't work, I don't care. I just debug it. Then I have a component. I don't care because you're calling me to do it. Now is where I know what to do with this exception. So I'm going to come over here to where the exception is. I'm going to hit Alt and Enter. And I'm going to surround with a try-catch statement. And I'm actually going to move this inside of here just to keep it all together. And I'm going to move this down here. And move this over there. So yes, I should log it out here, but now I have to figure out what can I do. And this is what we were talking about in the chat. I don't know what you can do. At minimum, what you can do here is exactly what we were doing before, is option pane dot show message dialog for this and say error writing to file. That's all I can really do for now. If you want to be super fancy, you could say, hey, write it to a different file. What name file do you want to write to? And you can try it that way. And you could. I mean, you absolutely could code that. You'd have to be more flexible in your component. You have to change a few things around, but it totally could work that way. For now, we'll just give you a warning because you probably will never encounter this. You probably will never see this error ever. But that's it. Now we've integrated that component we spent all that time writing and testing and making sure it worked and getting the formatting right with the GUI. And we didn't have to be running the GUI 100 times over and retyping stuff in and, oh my gosh, this did this wrong, and let me fix that. Boom. You see what I did here? I opened it up. I put 2 lines of code and the try-catch around it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of code. Many of them generated for me. And I've integrated everything. So let's try it out. Let's run our main application here. So when I run it, oops, sorry, I opened it on the wrong screen. And it opens on the wrong screen. And I come back over here. So I can say this is Tony, low, age 24, submit. Okay, well, it didn't do anything because I didn't tell it to do anything. It just did it. Let's go see if it did anything over here. If I go to Files, oh look, there's people.txt inside of here. Oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry. It's a GUI file. There's people.txt. Inside of GUI demo, there's people.txt. Tony Low 24. All right, let's leave that up in the background. Now let's go with Luke Skywalker. Oh, he's probably 65 by now in the movie. Who knows? Submit. Come back here. I have to click on it to refresh it. There's Luke Skywalker, 65. I can do Chewie Baka. And he's like 199 or something like that. All right, come back over here. Immediately loads that back into here. Each one of them gets put on its own line. So we've integrated just like that. Now, this UI is not super friendly in that when I update, I have no idea what's going on. We can fix that. That's within our control. If we write it out and we're happy with it, all data's all received, and we know it wrote out, what we can do is after this line and it's all written out, we can update our display in some way. So I could go to first name input dot set text, and I could blank it out. Last name input, oops, dot set text, and blank that out. And then age input dot set text, and blank that out. Just set them all to be empty, and that would give you an indication that it was saved. If I want to be super fancy, I could go back to my GUI. I could take a label and have a label down here that shows up anytime I make an action that says, hey, you saved successfully. So I can take this label here. I can put it out here. I can right click and say change variable name and status label inside of here. Let's change the text on this, the color on this, just so it pops out interestingly. We'll make it green, just for anything else inside of there. And then we'll change the text inside the label to be empty. So it's there, it just doesn't show up because there's no text inside of there. But if I go back to my source code, what I could do is I can blank them all out, and I could say status label dot set text. Successfully saved. Now it's tougher to manage than this. I'm putting this out there as an example of what you can do. I mean, to have this work properly, you'd have to do more than this. But let's go ahead and run it so you can see. So you can see there's no label showing here. Let's see if it works actually. And now I can say Darth Maul, age I don't know, 34. Submit. There, successfully saved. And then it's blank inside of here. If you had a great GUI, when I came in and edited one of these things, you'd have to, make that go away. So now if I said Queen Amidala, that's not her real last name or first name for that matter, but she's 18 there. Again, it all looks successfully saved. So you'd want this to go away when somebody started typing and whatnot, but I can put that in there. Come back to people.txt. I'm adding in things over and over again. All right, so that is the advantage of a component. I can go and integrate these things very easily, and then I can let the GUI focus on GUI things. I'm going to validate stuff inside of here, and then if it's all validated, then I just say, hey, go write this thing, and then I worry about GUI things, clean up my display, go from there. If I had the other way around, all the lines of code that's in here, and it's not a ton of them, but there could be a ton of them, but this 10, 12, 15, 100 lines of code that would be in part of there would have to be right here instead. And that's messy. Everything's together. So we want to use components to clean up our solution. And so hopefully if you follow this approach, you can test out your writing ability, focus on that, and then wrap it up into a component, test that, and then throw it into your GUI and have everything work together and have a better design application, cleaner application, and hopefully easier path to get there. If you have any questions, email me. Come to the chat. Zip up your code, send it over. If you can't come to the chat, and we'll look at it there. That's what we want you to do. But otherwise, have fun, play with this, and let me know how it's going.